Good morning, everybody. In today's FireWxPy tutorial, we're going to teach you how to download RTMA data outside of a function using the data access module of FireWxPy, and then passing that data into our plotting function. So that way, users who, let's say, might want to host a website and have graphics for that website, they're going to want to have a lot of different types of graphics. So instead of like the previous example where we were just creating one graphic, the data downloads inside the function and plots, and the function does everything. For users who want to create a medley of stuff, this is the recommended method because you want to limit the amount of data requests on the servers that the data is being hosted on. And in this example, since I know the RTMA data is being pulled from the Nomads opened app at NCEP, if you have too many requests going in at one time or too short of a time, you're going to get banned temporarily from accessing the data, and you don't want that. So we're going to teach you the best practice, how to avoid that happening for users who want to create a bunch of things. So in this demonstration, we are going to create a couple different plots, and I promised my Alaska friends that we're going to do Alaska in an upcoming video, so we're going to do Alaska today. We're actually going to be looking at the Anchorage, the eastern domain of the NWS Anchorage office, my former office before I moved to Southern California, I might add. So to get started out here, we have our Jupyter lab open in our test 1 Conda environment that we made yesterday in the previous videos. If you haven't checked out those videos yet, I recommend watching that before this. So we are going to first import a few different things this time. We have a little bit more imports since we need to download the data outside the function and pass it in. So first, just like similar to yesterday, we're going to say from FireWxPy import RTMA, except this time RTMA Alaska as RTMA. We also want to import the standard module because there's a function in there called plot creation time, which we use to get our local time and our UTC time. So from FireWxPy import standard. Lastly, we need to import our RTMA Alaska class from the data access module because that has the functions which we download our data. So we need from FireWxPy import RTMA Alaska. Alt enter. Let's run the cell. Okay, so that cell is ran. So now we're going to want to grab our data in this next cell. So this is the cell. Oh, actually, first, before we grab our data, we want to get our local and our UTC time. Really, our UTC time, because that's a required argument to pass into the function that'll grab our data. So in this cell, let's get our time. So it returns local time UTC time equals standard dot plot creation time. There's no arguments you need to pass into that function. So this will give us our local and our UTC. Okay, now let's grab our data. So we're going to get the 24-hour comparison data sets because that'll return the latest data set as well as the data set from 24 hours ago in case if, let's say, we want to do a comparison. You also could use that intertwined with data sets with plots that just plot the current data because you do have the current data set. So I find it's a good practice to do that. So we're going to say ds, comma, ds underscore 24. So ds is our data set for the most latest data set, and ds underscore 24 is the data set from 24 hours prior to the latest data set. We want time and time 24. So that is the time of the current data set as well as the time of the data set from 24 hours prior to the current data set. And now we want RTMA Alaska dot get RTMA 24-hour comparison. And we want to pass in our UTC time variable. Alt enter. Oh, I mistakenly forgot to add this. So we have to say data sets. So just make sure. Okay, now that should run. There we go. So we're going to retrieve the latest data set and the data set from 24 hours prior to the latest data set. So we got our data from 18Z today, and then shortly we should get our data from 18Z yesterday. There we go. So we have our data sets now, and we also have the times for that. So let's say we want to plot a few different things. Let's say we want to plot let's say we want to plot the latest temperature 24-hour as well as the 24-hour temperature comparison. I'm only going to do two plots in the interest of time, but this is the way that's recommended when you have multiple plots, just because you only have to access the data one time. So in order to do the plots, we'll do our regular temperature first, and we'll set that up, and we'll set that up for our temperature comparison next. So we're going to do RTMA dot, and I like to sometimes use our tab completion, so hitting that a couple times. So like I said yesterday, anything that's not a function, I wouldn't call in this. Anything that is a function that has the blue F here, or it says function, those are the things I would call. So we want plot temperature. Okay, so it's going to look a little different now than yesterday. So we want our data equals our data set. We want to pass that in. We want our to pass in the time equals time. And now we want to pass in some other things. So we want the Anchorage, the eastern domain of the NWS Anchorage office. So that's CW. We want to pass in CWA equals as a string AER. You could do AER like this as well, but I'll just keep everything lowercase. So AER is the abbreviation for the eastern domain of the Anchorage office. ALU is the abbreviation of the western domain of the Anchorage office. AFG is the abbreviation for the domain of the Fairbanks office. And then AJK is the abbreviation of the domain of the Juneau office. So we want that. And we could keep, we'll keep our reference system the same for now. Then the next one, we could do RTMA dot, we'll use our tab completion again. 24-hour temperature comparison. Now, this one's going to look a little different. We have our data equals DS. Then we have data underscore 24 equals DS underscore 24. Time equals time. Time underscore 24 equals time underscore 24. And then again, CWA equals as a string AER. Alt enter. So we actually forgot to CD into our Python projects folder. As you can see on the left, we're not in our Python projects folder. So again, it's showing that it doesn't recognize, it doesn't find any of the shape files there. So it's running this as a first-time user setup. That's fine. Honestly, it's not bad to show this again in case if you missed previous video. So it's running it as thinking we're a first-time user setup because you have to run it in the same folder that has the shape files, which would have been our Python projects folder right here. But that's okay. You'll see that it doesn't matter. The software for FireWxPy will do all the work for you anyway, which will make the user's life much easier. So we're unzipping the shape files, we're importing them, Then we're going to create our graphics. And so I'll let you just look at the print statements as they come in. So we're building our directory now automatically. We saved our first image to this path right here. So that's our temperature. So we'll bring that up. And as you see, since we already ran for the first time in this folder, we don't need to download and unzip all the shapefiles and their components again. So we're going to go to users. So yeah, here's our weather data folder that we just created. RTMA temperature, AK, states and counties, AER. And then you could see we have our plot right here. And then, okay, it looks like our next plot should be ready. So we're going to go back to weather data. I'll show you RTMA temperature comparison. And then here's our temperature comparison plot. So it looks like in the eastern domain of the Anchorage office, it's a few degrees to several degrees warmer at 18Z today compared to 18Z yesterday. So I hope you all find this video useful. In our next video, we will teach you how to automate a script in a Windows task scheduler. So we'll take we'll copy and paste this into a Python file, and we will show you how to automate that Python file. So that way, if you're someone who wants to, let's say, start a website and use FireWxPy to help you with your website, you can have those graphics automating, so that way you don't have to do everything manually, because I don't know any website owner that does everything manually. So until next time, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more content.